Man, bro, what? So I was at work, right? I was working at a grocery store, okay? And so just normal, I'm working, it's very normal. And then it's time for my break. I gotta go on break, so I just have to leave on my break, right? So when I leave, I'm just driving, all right? I'm driving around town to wherever my destination is. Somebody swerved. Like, somebody was it's like a two-way. Is that a two-way? Like, I'm going right, the other people going left. It's only two lanes. Somebody was in my lane, and like they coming right towards me. So I go to the other lane, and while I'm going to the other lane, they go into the other lane. I'm like, what's going on with this person, man? So I switch back to the right lane, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like people, what's wrong with people? So I continue driving, and I noticed that that person probably swerved because there's a big ass puddle in the road. Like, not a puddle, like it's just flooding in certain spots in the road, and my car is kind of getting stuck in this one puddle. I'm like, oh dang, like not a puddle. I don't want to keep calling it a puddle, but like it's flooding, and my car is like getting stuck. So I'm like, oh. So I was able to maneuver, get out of the get out of the puddle, get out of the whatever you want to call it, like the water, the thing of water right there, right? I was able to get out of it and turn back around. So I was like, man, you know what? I'm gonna just go back to work because I'm not trying to be out here stuck. You know what I'm saying? And at that point, it had started raining. I had noticed it was raining, and so I'm like, okay, let me just go back to work, man. So I just drive back to work. I found a road that's not flooded, and I'm able to drive back to work. So I get back to work to the grocery store, just walking around. My break's not over yet, so I don't know. I'm just walking around, and bruh, I want to describe this right. It wasn't like a sprinkler. You know how people have like sprinklers. You know what I mean? Like in places. So if a fire happens or something happens, like the sprinklers will come on. It wasn't like sprinklers, bro. It was big, like big ass shower heads coming down and kind of pointing diagonally. I don't know how to describe them, but it was just like pouring. It started pouring out water, and it was like they were all around the store, and they were like, it was acting as if they were sprinklers, but it was just pouring out water like super hard, and it was so much water. And so at this point, because a lot of my dreams are lucid, but at this point, the dream was so much like real life, like no crazy stuff was happening. I was like, man, this is some weird man. Let me get the out of here, bro. I don't know what's going on. They had pipes bust or something. I gotta get the out of here because I never seen no shit like this in my life, and I'm just thinking this is just real life. So I'll run outside. I'll run outside. It's the biggest, darkest cloud I've ever seen in my life, and it was like gray. It was like the way the cloud looked. It looked like a cloud, but it was like made up of all of these little balls. Like balls you would see in like a ball place, a plate. Where little kids go. But they were all gray, and some were like red. It was like red undertone, like it was glowing red, but it was mostly gray. But you could see through the balls that it was like glowing red, and it was the biggest cloud I've seen in my life. And it was like a big and like, I don't know, it was like by itself. It wasn't connected. It wasn't like, oh, the sky is gray. The sky was kind of gray, like like if it was raining, but it just stood out so much. It looked so surreal, and in my mind, this is real life. And I'm like, yo, what the is going on, bro? Like, I'm tripping out right now. I'm like, bro. And then the big ass cloud made up of all these balls, they start changing. It stays gray, but they start changing to SpongeBob. Then it changed to Gary. Then it changed to Patrick, and basically it was just changing to all the SpongeBob characters. And I was like, okay, hold up. Either this is my mind, and I'm trying to take you into my mind in this dream, because I'm still think I'm like I still think this is real life. So I was like, bro, either like the world is just going crazy and things are just happening, and this is what's going on. I'm experiencing this in my life, or in this is in my dream mind, and this is why dreams are so weird. In my dream mind, I was like that, you know. I was like, I'm witnessing something that I never thought I would see before. I don't know if this is an invasion. I don't know if this is like the government trying to like play tricks or something. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't know what, but I've never seen nothing like this in my life. But I was like, or, it's like something like was like, hold on, Jimmy. You're an experienced dreamer. This might be a fucking dream that you are in. So I was like, you know what? Let's test this out. Let's see if I'm in a dream. So, of course, in real life, whatever if you want to call this real life, what I'm in right now, in real life, I can't fly, but in my dreams, I am able to fly, right? So I was like, okay, let's try to fly, because this is crazy, and I would love for this to be a dream. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, let me test this theory out. So I started flying, and I tried to fly, and I started flying. And then instantly I was just like, okay, I'm in a dream. And now I'm in this fully detailed, like what I just described to you. Like, it felt so much like real life, looked so much like real life, but it was a little surreal because of the crazy stuff that was going on. And so I'm just in this world, right? I'm in this world, and I start flying. And sometimes when I fly in my dreams, I can't get really high, and I can't stay there for long. But sometimes I fly high as a and I could do it forever. This happened to be one of those dreams that I could just fly high as and I was just in full control, and I could do it whenever, however I wanted to, you know. That being said, like, I'm trying to really paint the picture and just show how trippy dreams are, especially when you add in the lucidness of it. Because in my mind, I am like, you got dream mind, and then you got your own, like, quote unquote, real life mind. Like, I have a real life mind right now. Like, I'm Jimmy, this is my life, and blah, 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 whatever, right? I had this mind in my dream where I was conscious that this was a dream, right? But so it's like me, I got to experience that shit firsthand. I was there. So basically, anyway, like, all right, I start flying, and in this dream, I could just fly high as when I want to. So when I took off flying, I kind of closed my eyes or something, or whatever, right? When I opened my eyes, I was so high off of the ground. I was so scared, bro. Like, in my dream, cause I had my real life mind. I was so scared, bro, when I was in the air, because if that happened in real life, I would be scared. I would be scared. I'm flying. I've never flown before. Like, as far as like me, I'm not on any type of thing. Like, I'm just ran, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna fly, and I flew, and I was so high that I was scared. Now, I've had a dream like this, similar to this, right? Where it kind of felt like I was just falling upward. It was like, in that dream I'm referencing, like, I was so high in that dream that I couldn't even see the ground. It was at night, and I couldn't see the ground. Like, that's how high I was. I wasn't that high in this dream, but I was so high, and I was high enough to go up and notice that I could see the ground and all the buildings and shit. And I was like, bro, this is trippy as I am so scared. I had to close my eyes again, and I tried to open them, and I was trying to really come down, but it was kind of like I was still falling upward, like in my other dream. Like, I was like, I'm too high, bro. I don't like this. But I was like, okay, I really shook myself back. I was like, but I am in a dream. This is not real life. I'm in a dream. Okay. I could fly, So I went back into the dream mode, and I was just like, all right, I'm the person that could fly. Because at this point, I don't think I said this, but everybody is running out of like nearby buildings and businesses, and I assumed, like in my dream, before I even knew I was dreaming, that everybody's water was up, and you know what I'm saying, everything was going crazy, and everybody came outside and saw this big ass cloud, and they like, oh, what's going on, blah blah blah. So I was like, don't worry, dream people, you know what I'm saying, because it's like, I know that this is a dream and there's no real danger, but all these people in this dream world are taking it seriously. So I'm like, yo, dreams are the trippiest thing ever. I swear I love dreams, bro. Like, oh my God. Anyways, man, like, I'm like, okay, don't worry, dream people. I am going to save the day. I am going to go up and fight this big ass cloud monster, SpongeBob thing, or whatever you want to call it. And I got up there, and it was like I was just in the face of it. Like, I kind of was in it a little bit. I could just see, okay, this is SpongeBob right here. And I just start yelling at it. I don't know, like, what am I gonna do? You know what I'm saying? I just start yelling at it, but I'm looking at it, and it looked crazy, And then I woke up. Like, something woke me up or something. I wasn't even really sleepy. I kind of fell back to sleep, you know. But man, that was trippy, bro. And you know what the trippy part is, man? And you know what's trippy about when I do these recordings? I am just kind of retelling it and reliving it. But I don't know, just kind of think about this, man, and try to wrap your head around this. I am in quote unquote real life right now. Like, if you want to say my soul is in my body right now and I am in real life, I'm here right now, I am in Baton Rouge right now. That's just where I'm at. In this real life, or or whatever. And I'm using this real life in quotes because who is not to say where I just came from is not also real life? Because I'm telling y'all right now, whoever listening to this, I'm telling y'all right now, I was there, bruh. And I guess I feel that way because I was lucid during it, and I was like, I had my same mind. I had my same mind. I had my same, like, I had the same kind of, I guess, fear of, like, being that high up or something, Like, I had my same sense of humor, by saying, like, don't worry, dream people, you know what I mean? Like, I was just there, bro. You cannot tell me I wasn't just there, and it felt so real, bro. Like, when I wake up from dreams like that, it's so crazy because I know it's not like I feel like this happened or I feel like that. Bro, I was there, bro. Wherever the that was, I just went there. Okay? And now I'm back here. But there is no doubt, I feel like there is no doubt I was in another dimension, another something, whatever you want to call it, bro. I was there, bro. There have to be like other dimensions, bro. Like, that's a proof. Dreams are proof. Because I'm like, every time we go to sleep, bro, we go to another place because we are not here. Can't nobody come up to you when you sleep and have a conversation with you. You are just a body at that point. You are a body, because whatever you want to call it, your soul or whatever, your mind, I don't know how to describe it, your essence, I don't know. That leaves your body when you're asleep and goes to another place, bruh. This shit, yo, bruh. Oh my gosh, like, life is trippy as man. Man, I am so glad I started doing this, bro. Like, I don't know. I never really like stumbled upon somebody with like a dream catalog, you know what I mean? Man, I cannot wait to put these out. Cause it's just trippy, bro. Like, I don't really hear a lot of people speak about dreams like that, you know? And it's like, I'm gonna just say this and I'm gonna get off here. Dreams are very important to me, and the subconscious and all of this. It's just like everything dealing with that is very important and intriguing, and just like a big part of who I am, I feel, you know? And I think one reason among the many reasons why dreams are just so important and so intriguing to me and so like kind of shape who I am and how I live my life. I was on YouTube one day. This was like way back, and I think this was before I even got into looking into a lot of stuff. It was like 10 things that scientists can't explain, or science can't explain, or something like that. So I clicked on that video because in my mind at the time, I'm like, what do you mean? Science can explain anything. Like, what are they gonna say on here? Because science and scientists and all of that, they got it figured out. It can explain anything. They can explain anything. These other humans that are scientists and this science, it explains everything for me. I don't have to look into it or question it myself. It explains everything for me. So what are you talking about? The guys in these white suits, you know what I mean? In these white coats or whatever, they know everything. They're all knowledgeable. They figured it out for me, so I don't have to for myself. So what are you going to hear on here? And bro, that video really changed my life. It did. It changed, and I didn't even know it at the time. It wasn't like I looked at it as like a just big mind-blowing thing. But it was just like, you're right. How could science explain that? You know what I'm saying? I gotta look at the video again, but dreams were one thing on there that they said science can't explain. And I was like, that makes sense because I'm a human, just like these scientists are humans. And it's just a label of a scientist. I could call myself a grizzly bear. That don't mean anything. You know what I mean? But I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Science can't explain that. You know what I mean? So it made me start looking at scientists and science like, hold on. Y'all niggas don't know everything. Y'all niggas human just like me. Now, there's a difference, and I started looking into like the nuances because you can't group all quote unquote science in together, because there's science to where, okay, we do experiments and there we change the variables and, and record the outcomes. You go into it with a hypothesis, then you get the conclusion, and you know what I mean, from this science experiment, and you have that, the next scientist has that experiment to reference when they do their own experiments. And, you can make a very informed and very educated guess, or, you know what I'm saying? You can, it's kind of based more in results, and that's like science. That's like what you can get behind, It's like, I don't know. Basically, like, you can test, like, anybody can do science experiments, and it doesn't have to be all elaborate and stuff. Like, I don't know, like, if I didn't know what water was, and I looked at a glass of water, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to run tests on this water. I'm going to see what happens when I boil it. I'm going to see what happens when I drink it, see how that affects my body. I'm going to record it throughout this period of time. Like, that's science. You know what I'm saying? But it's a difference between science like that and pseudoscience, which are based around theories and what people think, not based off experiences or experiments. You know what I mean? Based off of literally one or a group of people's thoughts or opinions on a certain subject. That's not science. That is guessing. You know what I'm saying? And man, it just made me not. And that's before I started looking into stuff, you know? So when I started looking into certain stuff, I went into it with the mind of, okay, I'm going to figure this shit out for myself, because these quote unquote scientists, these quote unquote, just anybody with a title, oh, they got a college degree, oh, they're this, they're, you know what I mean? Like, okay, those people are human just like me. And if you're a human, then you're not perfect. You don't know everything. You know how I know you don't know everything? Because I am the same being as you. Like, we are the same. You could take any nigga that's a scientist, put him in front of me. We are the same, dude. You put any human in front of me, for that matter. We are the same, bro. We just like different variations of the same thing. But we are the same at the end of the day, bro. And it's just, it really changed my life, bro. And dreams was like the main thing. I was like, you right, bro. Because ain't no scientist gonna come to me and say, this is why we have dreams. But you know what? I bet it's scientists out there that has, you can read up and they have like articles or they say like, this is why dreams happen. Like, how the you gonna explain to me why I was just able to go to another place, another dimension, whatever you want to call it, and I was able to fly in the air? I'm telling you right now, bro, I was flying, bro. I was flying and I was scared because I was so conscious that I'm in this different dimension doing that I can't do in this other dimension that I'm in. You know, I was flying, bro. I was looking at a big ass SpongeBob rain cloud that was seemingly on fire in the inside in my face, and I was in the sky with it, bro. I was there because I wasn't here, bro. You know I was there because I wasn't here. My consciousness existed there, not here. When I went to sleep, when I closed my eyes, right, I went to sleep listening to a video. I was thinking about what they were talking about in the video. I was just thinking about what I'm gonna do in my day and like that. And I slowly drifted into a place where I was flying. I was able to fly, and I had my same mind because I'm in that. I'm making jokes and the same type of jokes I would make to myself in real life. The same fear I would have of if I was high looking at buildings and on my own. I'm just flying and seemingly falling upward. I would be scared as you know? And because that type of stuff doesn't happen in this dimension, right? But stuff like crazy stuff happens in this dimension too, though. Like if I walk outside and I saw a tiger, that is just so majestic. Like, you know, if I had never seen a tiger before in my life up until this point, I had no concept of a tiger, what it would look like or something like that. And I walked outside and I saw this big ass tiger. I would be terrified first off, but it would be like a big majestic being. Like, what the is that? But the fact that I know what the concept of a tiger is, just like with a tree, if I knew what the concept of a tree was, I know what a concept of a tree is, so that kind of takes away from it. When you put that label on shit, it takes away the majestic aspect of it, or just the awesomeness of it, or I don't know how to describe it, the It just takes away what it really is, you know. We want to name and label and out of convenience, I understand, but I don't know, man. If a bird didn't have a name and I'm just seeing this thing fly around, this thing could fly for real, you know, on its own. They have wings to do that. They have wings. See what I'm saying? They have wings to do that. AKA, they have these things just on the side of their body. Like, I don't know. It's like when you're describing stuff, you have to use these labels, but it takes away what it really is. And what it really is just amazing. You know? That dream really shook me up, bro. Because I think what shook me up about it is I got scared. I got scared when I was in the air, and that was trippy, bro. That was so trippy, bro. I know what it feels like to fly, bro. I know what it feels like to fly. I know. And I guess because I was lucid during it. But, dog, you can't tell me I don't know that. I have that experience. I know what it feels like to where if I did that in this life right now, I would know what it felt like already. I've been there before, man. There's other dimensions, bro. And when people talk about doing DMT and shit like that, they talk about going to other dimensions and shit, bro. It's different dimensions, bro. It has to be, because they talking about, yeah, I saw these beings and it was this and it was that. Like, if they are not here in this dimension or whatever you want to call it, and they just said, because niggas, when they do DMT, they like knock out and shit, right? Like, they sleep, they gone. Their body is there, but you can't talk to them and have a conversation with them. You can't have a conversation with their conscious. They are conscious. While you looking at them sleep, they are somewhere talking to some beings or whatever the they doing, bro. That's not something like lightly, bro. We are living in a dream because I can control this reality too. It's like a more structured reality or something. It's like a more like, I don't know, but these things work, man. I can create my life, bro. So this is a dream. Everything are just different variations of dreams, right? And this is the most lucid of the dreams, right? Because I know what a lucid dreams feel like. I just woke up from one.